All right, welcome back, everybody. Our next guest is the Director of Staff of the United Federation of Teachers, and he joins us today to highlight the services that UFT offers. What they offer teachers. They do a lot of hard work, making sure our teachers are safe. And he works with the students and the parents during this pandemic also. Please welcome to the show, Anthony Harmon. Anthony, how are you?
Good, Bob, and thanks so much for having me on today.
We love the work that you guys are doing in our community. You've been doing it for some time. You and your boss, Mr. Magro, and you got something. And school started with about 90,000 students, but you and your organization didn't want to really have the schools open up under those conditions until you knew for sure that teachers and parents and students were safe.
Mm-hmm. So. And that's exactly it, Bob. Let me just start by saying we here at the United Federation of Teachers have this wonderful working relationship with the parents of the children that we serve on a daily basis. Yeah. I often tell people that we as teachers, our working conditions are the children's learning conditions.
Yeah.
And that became paramount in our discussions with the Department of Education and the City of New York. I will tell you that we, when this pandemic first started, we were immediately in April, or as early as April, saying that we need to start planning for a reopening of schools when we saw that we would be closed for some time. So it took a long time for the city to come to the realization that, hey, we got to get this thing moving and we got to get this train going.
Yeah.
So what we found is that, in many situations, the city was unprepared to start the school system. So we, along with my partnership with the Principals Union, the Teachers Union, and Department of Education, we began to start planning in July, But we were pushing as early as April, but we can't force people to the table, right? So we can say that, come to the table, let's start discussing, because in a traditional year, as principals close out the year in March, April, May, they're also preparing to open the year in September. So things are going on simultaneously, right? So when we're at that process that, looks like we're going to be out for the remainder of that, that school year, we started pushing and started inquiring, when are we going to start having those conversations about a reopening of schools in September? Because we knew that it was going to be kind of crazy with everything that had to be, put into place. We had, on our list of demands that if we're going to return to these buildings have to be safe. There's going to have to be, certain safeguards in place, right? Enough, PPEs, which is the personal protective equipment, at the school, enough masks, and then what does that even look like, in terms of like the number of students that we have in the New York City public school student system. At that point, we had no idea how many students were going to be opting to go remote, how many kids are going to be on this blended model type thing where they were going to be in school 2 days a week, at home 3 days a week, the like it. So we really started to have some real deep conversations in terms of what is it going to look like. So at the beginning of the school year, the city wanted to start September 8th or September 9th or whatever date it was for everybody to come back into the school system.
You guys said, hold up. Let's wait a minute. Hold on. We're not going back until everything is safe.
Absolutely. So when the city was saying that they're going to open up the schools, we started sending our people out. We had industrial hygienists train people to go out into the schools and to look to see if there's proper ventilations in some of these buildings and, what was going on, right? Was there proper airflow in some of the buildings? Did the buildings receive their electromagnetic static sprayers? I think that's what they're called.
Yeah.
Kills the virus, right, in the air. And so we sent people out, and where we found that those things weren't in place, we immediately put the Department of Education on notice that, hey, our people are not going to go back into these unsafe working conditions. Some of our teachers, that felt that the buildings weren't safe, and I'm sure you saw in the news, they reported to work, but they refused to go into the building, and they worked on a sidewalk, which speaks to the level of commitment to the students that they serve, right? and they did their planning or whatever that they needed to do, on the sidewalk. Not saying they weren't refusing to go to work, but they
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that those buildings were safe.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. I mean, this is a matter of life and death. People they gotta go to work. They're frontline workers. Then they gotta go home and, infect somebody if things are not right. So, of course, teachers have to, and parents have to do a temperature before they send them off to school every day.
Yes.
And do they have rapid testing in the schools right now?
So there's going to be something in place that's medical monitoring. So there's going to be testing throughout the city of New York on a monthly basis, beginning in October, where they're going to randomly select students and staff members to be tested. With the quick response, right? No week long, waiting for your results. They should be between 24 and 48 hours that people should be hearing. The city has also instituted a track and tracing. So if someone is infected, then what is that pod of people that they were in close proximity to, and then putting them on notice and so forth. So those things are happening. It was slow in the beginning, but through the advocacy of the unions and the parents and the community at large, the city is moving. I will tell you that there was a lot of concerns. We initially, when they wanted to bring everybody back, and we had to slow that train down because we realized that things weren't, in place that that commitment that we had received from the city said that everything was going to be fixed, actually wasn't happening or wasn't in place. So we had to slow that train down, and we're looking at now a phase-in process. So this week on Monday, we started with our District 75 students, and some of them, being the most needy children of our public school system, and those early childhood, the pre-K children. So there was a phase in this week, and I'm knocking on wood because there weren't a lot of problems this week. I'm knocking on wood, my fingers crossed, and I'm banking on my hopes and not my fears. At this particular point, that things continue to go on this road, but we heard from a lot of parents and a lot of parent advocacy groups, as did the city, saying that these children, particularly these District 75 students, who parents and who've come to rely on a lot of the services that our school system provides for their children, the occupational therapy, the physical therapy, the speech therapy, so they were lacking, in some cases, those services. So they needed to get their children, or they felt that they wanted to get their children back, into some sense of normalcy as possible. And I got emails from all kind of parents that are saying, "Thank you for once putting District 75 parents, first. Thank you for the work you're doing in the advocacy, right? Because parents, they need, and the children, they need the services that some of them felt that they, the children had actually regressed because they hadn't been, in front of that person or in contact with that person that provided those related services that they desperately need."
Well, we desperately need you and your services from UFT, because you guys are standing in solidarity. That's what a union is supposed to do, back their people. And that's what you guys are doing, making sure everything is safe. And, we need you guys.
Absolutely. And we're here, Bob.
And if there's an uptick, you guys know exactly what to do.
Absolutely. So that was phase one. And then phase two, beginning on Tuesday, our K-8 schools and K-5, they will be starting on Tuesday. And we're looking at the exact same thing, right? And then on October 1st, the middle and high school students will start.
There you go. Anything we can do to help or assist or bring light to?
If we can continue to encourage the community to please wear their masks when they're in public, practice those things that the CDC is telling us, with proper hand washing, hand sanitizers, encourage people to wear their masks. I think, I just don't think people should just become so comfortable that, they think everything's okay at this moment. Let's still continue to use the guidelines that the CDC has identified in terms of, protecting ourselves, and that,
And I'm glad they're redoing those ventilation systems, because even before COVID, you see that black blown out on the ceiling, you needed to do something with that ventilation system. So I'm glad they're working with that too. Well, listen, thank you for all that you guys are doing. Can we go to a website to find out more? You have everything posted up?
Thank you, Bob. If people wanted to visit the U of T website, that's www.uft.org. That's www.uft.org. They can go there, and we try to post as much information as possible. If parents wanted to see what the ventilations reports say, you know, about their particular schools, they can go to that school's individual website, and the ventilation reports should be posted there, and it tells you exactly what classrooms will be utilized and where work was done in the building. So the information is out there. But again, Bob, if we can just tell people just to please practice the guidelines of the CDC, and you know, do other things, fill out the census, and to vote.
30th, September 30th is the last day to fill out the census. And voting, very important. Everybody, get your whole family together, organize your community, make some sandwiches, get some drinks, and let's go and do what we have to do. I mean, I'm going in person because I want to see that thing say, all right, you have successfully voted.
So am I.
Anthony, thank you for all you do. Now, what's your current title? Because I know you're moving quickly through the ranks.
Well, my title here with the United Federation of Teachers, I'm the Director of Staff, but I hold other positions within the organization on both local, state, and national levels. So currently, I'm with the United Federation of Teachers and serving as Director of Staff, but I also serve as the Vice President with the American Federation of Teachers.
There you go. United Negro College Fund.
the NAACP.
NAACP.
I'm involved.
Well, thank you for all you do, man. We love you.
Thank you, Bob, and thank you for keeping up the fight.
You got it. Anthony Harmon, we got it going on right here, UFT. He's the director. He's working with a lot of the people there of the United Federation of Teachers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We need you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll take a break. We've got more open coming up next right here